here. I'm not the host at all, but I'm Fade Dragateer. Welcome to the Serenial Podcast. We're joined here today. Let's go, Mega Harv. We got Mega Harv here.
Hey,
what's up, Mega Harv?
welcome. How you doing, everybody? Hi, everyone that's live watching right now. How are you?
We also got Nadine25, our resident art guru.
Who unfortunately has to wear a mask at the moment.
Right, you got the Rona? We'll come back to that. We're going to come back to Nadine's possible, alleged Corona. I don't know. Oh, are we going to get demonetized for talking about that?
Yeah, it's like 30 seconds in already. I'm sure it's
or Enigma's Nerd Talk.
Yes, indeed. What's up, everybody?
We're here for the Serenial Podcast. Once again, we made it this week. 2 weeks in a row. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So the topic that we decided to talk about this week was just sort of classic games. We were going to talk about Final Fantasy in specific, but we figured we'd widen it up and just sort of talk about some of our classic gaming experiences. Is that right? We agreed on that, right, guys?
Yes, we are good for that.
So we're going to get into that, but first we need to discuss the pressing issue of Nadine's infection. We'll just we're sure she's got something.
I've got something. No one knows what.
You don't know what? Oh, so you're just
it's basically it's like a spot that's exploded, and it's not made my face very happy, and it's not made me very happy.
Gotcha.
I've been feeling not very good from it.
So I'm in Canada and it's winter, so masks are not even just an infection statement or a thing that's mandated anymore. I used to wear masks in this time of year anyway, so it's cool. I like masks.
I'm mainly wearing this as a benefit for the viewers.
This mask is actually pretty cool because I got this, it's sort of like yours. It's like a ninja mask. I'm like, dude, I feel like a Mortal Kombat character. I'm definitely
Sub-Zero because it's Canada.
Yeah, well, with me, I guess it's Noob Sabak. It's a black mask, and I got a black hoodie on, and just walking down the harsh Canadian roads.
So that'd be Noob or Smoke, right? I forgot which one's which.
Well,
are we yours? We end up going live, and are we on the?
Yeah, we're live.
This time.
We are live. We're live. The chat switched over. I just dropped in the Discord, be like, hey, come here. Get over here, Scorpion, because we're talking Mortal Kombat, I guess.
Yeah, but...
I know, right?
I got a notification that the podcast is up.
That's a good sign.
So that's good. Yeah.
Whoop.
Yeah. So, okay, so gaming experiences, guys. So does anybody want to jump in with their first, do you have a really profound first game that you were wow, this is... Anybody?
The first game.
Everybody's thinking of what their first game is.
I think the first game I ever played was actually Sonic the Hedgehog. Back on the which one was it? I forgot if it was the Genesis or if it was the one before it. I forgot which Sega's which because I was 4 years old. Whichever one had Sonic the Hedgehog, I remember playing that all the freaking time. That was one of the best games I ever played as a kid. I freaking love it. 1996. Classic.
Yeah,
I love it.
If the Master System had a Sonic the Hedgehog, maybe it did.
I don't know if it was the Genesis or the Saturn. I forgot.
Oh, we got a Kaboom and stuff.
But it was on the Genesis, Sonic 2, the one where you could be Tails. It was great.
Oh man, that's still one of my favorite series of all time. It's classic. I wish they didn't really just kind of ruin it and make it go downhill. No pun intended.
Is there any good recent Sonic games? I remember the last one that I remember that I think was good was maybe Sonic Mania, which was a kind of a remake classic, a classic version, modern game.
I think that was the remake of the old ones. I think they just kind of remastered it, right?
Yeah. So I can't think of a 3D Sonic that was ever good.
Sonic Adventure is the only one. Well, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, they're the only ones I could think of that I really liked from the 3D games. The rest were kind of just or I didn't even bother trying them because the reviews were so horrible.
Right.
I feel like it would be worth it. But the classic Sonic is still the best.
I remember at one point I was watching people, like, it was like a couple years back, a Sonic game that was like so broken that like people were just like, I remember it was like a flip jump thing that you could do, and you could just like infinitely, by pausing the game and then double jumping and then pausing the game and then double jumping, you could like break the game. And like people made like crazy speed running strats with that game, which is probably like the most entertaining thing that you could have with the game. Like if it's that broken, like the speedrunners are just gonna tear it apart and like do all kinds of crazy things with it. So like in a way, broken games are like, it's almost like a good thing that some games are broken that badly.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sonic, man, I love Sonic. So the first Sonic game I played was, as I said, the Sonic and Tails one. But I remember it. The thing about that one that was really cool to me that stood out was the second player. Like they intended that to be like the little brother, or like, you know, somebody who is not as skilled at gaming, because they made that character immortal, made it so that they could fly, you know, help out in whatever way. That was like one of the most clever things at the time in gaming, I feel. It was a huge thing.
I mean,
but like the only
that part
Sonic-
was crazy, like, because whoever played it Tails, it was just so you could basically abuse it since he could never die. Like he just kept coming back, so you could just basically attack whoever. You could have him do almost everything as long as he knew how to play. Because it's like,
Right,
you had to worry about Sonic dying.
Like you're actually playing the game yourself, right? And like you're Sonic, so that's like the way that the game is intended. But like you got this little brother, like you got like a 5-year-old, like a little brother, that somebody that's like not even able to play games. They're able to run around consequence free and still like affect the game world. But like, you know, it's still really on like the main number one player one. It's a little bit different if like you got players of equal skill that are playing in somebody's Tails, because then it's like, yeah, Tails can just like do everything. But yeah, like I love the classic Sonics. I really do wish, like you said, like that they didn't like ruin it, kind of. As far as franchises that like kind of got the shaft, like I mean, people complain about like Final Fantasy going downhill over the years, and like they're not like the classic Final Fantasies, but Sonic, my lord, like I feel bad for that fandom, kind of. But that being said, they brought it on themselves with all that fanfic. Like that's like I feel like that's like a punishment.
Yeah, the good old Rule 34 Sonic business.
There's a lot of it.
You know, everybody's whatever it is, the hedgehog, like Reggie the Hedgehog, and he's just like he's Sonic, but he's like turquoise or whatever, right? Like I can't steal somebody else's character who's already a turquoise Sonic the Hedgehog, right? Like OC, original character, do not steal.
There's a lot of like rip-off Tails as well and stuff.
Yeah, it is. Like every character in the series got like a freaking 100 knockoff fan fiction type versions that are just completely out there.
But I guess it's just a testament to like sort of how powerful that character, those characters, and that style are. People resonate with it, and they just want to, they want to be part of it. It's cool. Well, like I mean, cool in a way that it's like cringy, but like I don't know, man. I try not to judge.
Well, if it's like
whatever they
whatever
want.
you're
Like,
into, yeah.
sometimes like sometimes I'll do things that I know are cringe, ironically, because I'm like, whatever, it's a joke. Like I'm embracing it. Like I want to, dude, Nadine. We need a custom. Like if you're looking for ideas for shorts, can we please have our own custom Sonic OC?
Oh god. Oh god. Next shot, let's skip me doing my Pokemon ones. We're just gonna do Serenials Sonic OCs.
OC do not steal.
Make it some sort of like edgelord.
Exactly. Like make it yes.
It's got to have katanas as well.
Oh dude. And lasers. We have like lasers.
Oh god.
Oh man,
It's
Sonic.
not a lightsaber. It's similar, legally distinct from a lightsaber. It's original idea. Do not steal.
Oh god.
So Sonic the Hedgehog. That's a really good classic one. Do you feel like that shaped your, like before we move on to somebody else's, do you feel like that shaped your taste in games going forward at all? Like do you sort of resonate towards certain things because of it, or?
I don't think it changed. Well, I mean, I guess that's the beginning, so it couldn't really change anything. But it always has a place deep down for me that I wish they would bring Sonic back, but I don't feel like it really shaped my like gaming like flavors and whatnot. I've always been pretty varied, and as I get older, it's just been more and more open to different types.
Okay. Nadine, let's do you.
Now there's quite a few that I remember, but I can't remember the exact one I started with. So we're just gonna go with like a classic that everyone knows is like my Pokemon Leaf Green edition on the Game Boy. I started with.
That was one of your first games, or that was just like one of the early ones that influenced you?
It's one of the first games I can remember. There might be a few that I played before that, but I am younger than you guys remember though, so.
How old were you when you played it though? Like, you could read?
I could read, yeah.
Could read, okay.
I wasn't like 2 years old going, oh.
Well, I remember playing Dragon Quest and not being able to read. And
really?
If you ever played Dragon Quest, like Dragon Quest, it's all menus. Like to go downstairs, you need to know how to navigate a menu to go down the stairs.
Yeah.
So not being able to read and try Dragon Quest was like a real big challenge. With Pokemon, I would assume would be kind of a similar challenge. Maybe not as complex, but like, yeah. So you were like a little bit older. Okay, when you got into it, like you weren't like
I remember playing a lot of PlayStation 1 as well. I played a lot of Croc. I played a lot of like Lara Croft and not that lot. But that was my dad's influence then, because he had the PlayStation 1 and it was just like I just jumped onto it and started playing it.
Okay.
Whereas the Game Boy was actually mine. And oh my god, there was a garbage game I played on there it was literally, do you remember Cat in the Hat?
Yeah, I don't remember
the game.
Yeah. There was a really bad game. There was a really bad platforming game. I was young, and I played that. It's Cat in the Hat.
Cat in the Hat?
Just Cat in the Hat.
Did you say Cat in the Hat?
Yep.
Man, we gotta get topical then if we're talking about Cat in the Hat. So that's Dr. Zeus, which recently, like on Twitter, oh my god, let's talk about current events, guys. Like this is a podcast.
I just heard about this.
Like, jump right into Yeah, so Dr. Zeus recently, so they took down some of his old things because they were racist. And people are overreacting and they're like, oh, we're canceling Dr. Zeus. And like, my take on it, and I'll just like share my take, is that they just removed the racist things. And like, it's not that, like, it's like, Cat in the Hat is still Cat in the Hat.
Right.
But yeah, like, I mean, back then everybody was like, Disney got that stuff. Like, let's cancel Disney, guys. Like, if that's the case.
I mean, they literally had Donald Duck and the Nazis, so I mean.
What the hell?
Have you not seen that?
Oh, that's wild to watch.
I don't think I saw it.
Yeah, no, he worked in a factory making the weapons.
Wow.
Yeah, and then there was that literally.
My videos.
There's the one that Crash Mountain's based off as well, or whatever it is, which is literally racist.
Yep.
It's about cotton pickers.
Dumbo. Like, there's all kinds of it. And, like, if you're going to get into, like, we're going to talk about sexism, too, like, Disney definitely does that. Like, they definitely use, like, all kinds of things like that. Like, I don't even want to get into it with Disney. But, yeah, so Dr. Zeus was a thing. And, like, yeah, all of his games are crap because, like, his world does not lend to, like, a gaming thing, I don't feel.
Is that the Michael Myers Cat in the Hat?
Probably would have been, yeah.
It was a really bad game.
There was a PlayStation one.
I completed it. That's what's even worse. I was a little kid with a mind of, game, and I completed this terrible
you don't know any better.
I actually 100%ed it, and it's a collection game. As a kid.
Well, back then, it was like you didn't have like the whole internet. Like, well, I don't know, maybe you did, but like it was, you had the game that you had, and like you would just play that until like, and a lot of them back then were like trial and error. Like, well, no, you're a little bit younger generation. Things eased up on you. Like, you're the Pokemon generation where like it's
Well, the Pokemon games and stuff, they mainly had like, especially the early ones. You learn everything through like books and manuals and oh my god, the yearly albums that I would buy as a kid, where it's like, oh look what Pikachu's done.
Right.
That like the internet did exist, but it still wasn't massive when I was playing Pokemon Leaf Green.
Did you guys hear a car driving by every now and then?
Yeah.
I bet.
You do hear that? Like, is that?
I heard one so far. Yeah.
Like, is it really loud? And like, my window's open, so I just want to get a breeze in here. I could close it.
I think it's
That's
alright.
fine.
All right.
So Leaf Green. Did you ever play the originals?
Yeah, Leaf Green, like the one for the Game Boy.
Like that's the remake for the Game Boy Advance. But did you ever play one for the Game Boy Color?
I did have a Game Boy Color. I remember playing Miss Pac-Man on that one. Actually, that could be my first game.
I remember playing Pokemon Red in junior high.
Red, I was like 5 years old when I was like 6 when I had Pokemon Red. That was one of my favorite, like one of my first games too, like right around that point. That was when I first got a Game Boy Color.
So the only thing I did was build up my Charizard, and I just let it get like super overpowered, and it wouldn't listen to me because I didn't have enough badges. But like it was so powerful that I would just do whatever you want, Charizard. Like you're gonna win because you're so overpowered.
I'm 15 now.
The whole game is good. I enjoyed the experience of not having to try.
That's like how everyone played though. If you got your starter when you first ever played Pokemon as like a kid or as a teenager, and you just be like, oh, starter, and just level them up, and you might have this one other one that's just sat in your team doing nothing.
Yeah. Actually, that's true. Pokemon is like one of the first games that really taught us like how we have to have a balanced party when we like are playing RPGs. Like, otherwise it doesn't work.
I played Final Fantasy VI before I played Pokemon. So Pokemon felt like a huge downgrade for me in like a lot of ways, where I'm like I got a lot more options for who my party members are, but they're a lot less complex. Like there's no story like as compared to Final Fantasy VI. Like if we're talking narrative, like there is a story to Pokemon, but it's not like Final Fantasy VI's narrative. And it was just sort of like I was really down on Pokemon the whole time. But like the thing was, Pokemon was mobile. So it was like, okay, so it's like a downgrade, but it's like I can take this anywhere. And that was the big appeal for Pokemon for me. And like now it's kind of, Pokemon's turned into, it's stayed pretty similar, but like I kind of like what Pokemon is now. Like I enjoy the newer Pokemon games more so than I enjoy the classic Pokemon games. And that's just my opinion.
Yeah. With the classics, I have a massive memory as well. This was on the Game Boy, definitely Color. But there was this little thing that you would put in the back of your device that gave you like a connection to be able to trade Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, link cable.
Yeah, oh yeah.
No, not the cable. They upgraded it to this Wi-Fi like signal sending thing.
I remember.
I had the cable as well, but like there was this upgrade to it, and I can't remember the name of it. And like I only had one other friend that played Pokemon, so it was just me and him trading all the time. And that
if
was
you guys like classic Pokemon games, I would recommend check out a game. It's called Poke MMO. So the way that it is, it's not actually a game. It's just like this software set that you can get and plug in your own ROMs of the Pokemon games, and it's like a server for Pokemon. So you walk around, there's other people in the world. It's an MMORPG of Pokemon is literally what it is. And there's all the different regions, but if you switch regions, you can't take Pokemon with you between the regions. So every region, like it's sort of like its own ecosystem. It's very cool. It's a wicked project. It's like the best like Pokemon online thing that I've seen. And as far as I know, it's completely fine to do it because of the way that they set it up. Like it's legal. Nintendo can't sue them because they just did the back end stuff and they don't supply the ROMs. Poke MMO. Look it up. Google it. All right. Harv, early or first gaming experience?
Before I talk about that, I just want to mention that I've never really played a Pokemon game. I plan to change that this year sometime.
You should stream them. People love it.
What I want to do is just play like more Nintendo stuff in general this year, and like I love RPGs, and it's kind of a sin I haven't played Pokemon, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. But like pretty well, like the earliest video
before
game.
You jump in, no, actually, I did interrupt with the Nintendo stuff. So I only did a little bit of Nintendo things. They're pretty like talk about Nintendo on YouTube. I want to like get your insight there. Have you ever done like Nintendo streams of Nintendo properties?
I've done. It was around, I forget if it was the start of 2018 or 2019, but kind of recently Nintendo loosened up a lot on their like copyright stuff. So like I did a Mario 1, 2, 3, and Super Mario World like marathon stream New Year's one year, and that did pretty well.
Okay.
And, like,
yeah, I remember Nintendo like notorious. Like they had this like you had to sign up for the Nintendo. Like it's not the Nintendo Fun Club anymore, but they should have called it the Nintendo Fun Club,
Might
and
as
that
well.
would have been great. But yeah, you had to sign up for their thing to be able to like use their content, and I was just like, whoa, Nintendo.
Yeah, and they'd give you like pennies, and it's not even worth it. They'd still like copyright claim your channel, but then pay you.
Exactly. Sorry to interrupt. You can go off now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But like basically, just circling back to Nintendo, like Super Mario Brothers is definitely Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt is like one of the earliest games I remember. But we also had an Atari in the house.
Yeah.
So I remember things like Asteroids and like Frogs and Flies. There's a Frogger ripoff. I think it was called like Chicken Run or something to that effect. So like,
I think there was a movie, but I don't think it's related.
I think it was.
Oh yeah, Chicken Run was a movie from my generation.
Yeah, it's probably several.
But yeah, like Super Mario Brothers.
So,
I really grew up with the NES.
Did you have the Zapper? You had the Zapper too, right, for Duck Hunt?
Oh yeah. I always would walk right up to the screen and be like, "Bang! I'm so good at this game."
It's instant win. Or if you put it up to the light and shoot the gun like 4 or 5 times, and then like it just hits anything because like sort of like it screws with the way that the technology was with the gun. There's a couple ways.
I
to
didn't
cheat
know
the Zapper. Also, the clay game, the little thought of clay game that, and it just shoots out the clay, and you got to shoot the clay.
Right.
Yeah.
But like I remember having
not having any saves. So like the feeling of making progress, but then turning it off and not having progress anymore, was like disappointing with just Mario Brothers in general.
Oh yeah, that was.
I remember when I found
NES issues.
Like I found the warps on my own, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool.
Well, I had an older brother who would find a lot of that stuff for me, and I'd be like, oh, well, I'm just going to do this thing.
Did you ever, like, in your childhood, did you ever end up beating it? Did you play it enough to actually get, like, to 8-4 and get over Bowser? And
I forget how old I was, but I was definitely pretty young when I beat it, and I remember being so excited when I did, and I woke I forget if my mother was asleep, but I definitely woke my dad up. And you're just like, oh, yeah, it's good. Roll over, go back to sleep, kind of thing. But I was super excited.
A huge challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Back then. Like, I imagine I would be able to do it fairly easily now. Like, I don't think I would be able to do it perfectly. Like, I would probably take a couple lives or anything. Like, I'm definitely not like a speedrunner.
Yeah, Mario.
But back then, it
can surprise you.
I learned so many lessons about gaming from Mario. Like, it was just.
Oh yeah. Well, like when you have to go through the levels where it's like you have to memorize which like order you have to go. Like if you don't have that memorized, it can kind of mess with you.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people of like a certain generation, like of a certain time frame of like 4 or 5 years of being born, maybe even longer, like maybe 6 or 7 actually, would have that similar kind of experience of just Mario Brothers Duck Hunt, like because that was it. It always came with the normal Nintendo. Everybody had that game. You're guaranteed to have one game or 2 games, and that's it. And like that was the 2 games, Mario Brothers Duck Hunt. Do you remember? Well, I guess I should talk about mine too. Like, well, mine's Mario Brothers, but like I'll say another one that was like really early for me that was like a game that I loved and sort of like influenced me was Blaster Master, or is it Master Blaster? Either or, like whatever that was, the Sunsoft game. It's just about this kid who has a frog, and his frog runs away and goes into like underground into this tunnel. So the kid jumps in a giant tank with a gun on it and just like blasts off to go save the frog, but like it turns out the frog gets mutated. Spoilers, guys, and you gotta kill the frog. Kind of mutated frog. But it's a really cool game because there's like different modes of play. So you got the like it's a side-scrolling thing when you're in the tank, right? And you can like shoot up, down, left, like kind of like Contra-like, but it's like a labyrinth. Like you're not just going straight to the left or straight to the right, rather. Like you got to look around, you got to go down, up, like look for things. And then there was another mode where you would hop out of the tank, and it was like still in that side-scrolling mode, but you're just a little dude. But the reason you need to do that is like he's the only one that can go indoors or climb up ladders. So sometimes you got to leave your like tank behind, right? And then you would get into another area, and it would switch into like an overhead, like almost like a Bomberman style view, where you got to like go through that and then fight most of the bosses in that mode. So it was a really cool game, and just like it just sort of captured me. I wanted to talk like normal Nintendo in general had like a lot of like really crazy good games.
It was like a different time back then too, because like no one really knew what like you could do in a game, so it's like you would just try random stuff in a game, and then, or you would just find out, oh, I have to do this to progress. How would you ever figure this out? And like if you're not figuring something out back then, you're not beating the game. Just too bad. Either find it in a Nintendo Power or like hear about it on the schoolyard or something like that.
Trial and error for a lot of games. Like a lot of games are built on trial and error. Some of them were stupid. Castlevania 2. Where you gotta like, I forget what it is. You gotta get like an item and then kneel in front of a wall for like so many seconds. Like It's like this very specific thing, and there's no real in-game cue to do this. And like the only way that you would know is by subscribing to Nintendo Power. That was their marketing thing back then. Like, oh yeah.
One of my moments like that in for NES was we rented the game Star Tropics for NES, so it didn't come with the instruction manual. When you get to, I think, the end of Chapter 4, it's like, oh, input the code that's in the instruction booklet, and it was a number. It was between 000 and 999. So if you didn't have the instruction manual, you just had to guess.
Yep. Wasn't that like it actually like was an insert that came with it? I thought it was like invisible ink.
Yeah.
And you like actually have like
You had to submerge
it
in water.
Put a piece of paper in water to get like the ink to show up, and like taking it out and then putting it back in and then taking it, like it's not gonna last forever because you're like damaging it by using it. So
I mean, it's a cool concept, but like made us tear our hair out until eventually I'm just like, oh, 747's a plane, so I just put the number in. It's like, oh, it worked. You can actually play the game more now.
It's almost like an anti-piracy / like anti-rental method.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Star Tropics game though. That was I actually said that was my favorite SNES or NES game of all time.
It's a good one
because it was
hard.
unique. It was difficult, but it was like it was part RPG, part like action Zelda game, part like you're on vacation in the tropics, part like I don't know, like it was just so unique. Like there's no other game like it. And then like aliens. Like all of a sudden just like aliens, and then like the second one is like completely different. But yeah, very very hard, very challenging game, but I love it. I could talk about so many of those, but like Sega Genesis games too, though. Like I was talking about, like the Sega CD had this game called Sketchin'. I think it was Sketchin', but like it was this game where like you were rollerblading or skateboarding or something, and you were like hooking on the bumpers of cars and like using them to like boost ahead. And you could like fight people like Road Rash style, like punch left or right. I think it was Sega CD. It might be 32X. It was some Sega thing. I also remember playing like the sewer thing. Did you ever have Enigma? Did you ever have any of the like attachments to your Sega?
I doubt it, honestly. Like,
No?
I forgot. I think the Sega was probably like, I forgot whose console it even was, because I got like 3 older siblings. And my mother would actually use it at times, I think, too. Like, she had an Atari. Like, they bought my brothers, like, a freaking Sega something, a PlayStation. So a lot of the older consoles was, like, my siblings' consoles. The first one that was really mine was probably, like, my Game Boy Color, really, like, when I was, like, in first grade or something like that. I was just using, like, the other consoles that were in the house every now and then. But I don't think we had any.
Yeah, that's
I don't even know if we had anything attached to our Sega, really.
Yeah, now that I think about it, like the normal Nintendo that I played Mario on, I believe was my big brother's. But I was just like, it's there, I'm gonna play it.
My first console was probably actually the Super Nintendo. Probably is the first console besides the Sega. I think it was the Genesis. That's the other console I remember playing.
I think the first one that I owned would have been a Super Nintendo that was like actually given to me. That's like, this is your console.
Yeah.
And that Super Nintendo. Like, I mean, I think we could everybody's played a lot of Super Nintendo here, right? Like.
Oh yeah.
Final Fantasy VI is my favorite game for the Super Nintendo, but like there's Demon's Crest is a good unique one that like not a lot of people talk about. Secret of Mana. Trying to think of like Mega Man X. I love the Mega Man X series.
Yeah, Mega Man X is sweet.
The best.
At some point, I got to do like a top 50 SNES games because there's at least 50 that I could probably just like name off in rapid succession here.
I'm trying to do top 10. And I'm stuck at like Mega Man and Mario. Like,
I got so I remember I had a game, and it was like the coolest game in the world on the Super Nintendo. But like I never actually got to play it because I never had a Super Scope. But I had the game. Right, and it was it required the Super Scope. It was like this giant fighting robots. I don't know what it was called, but like basically you were just like it was a first person thing, and then you were just looking at your opponent, and it was like a 1v1 kind of fight thing, and they would like go left and right. It was like a 2D kind of thing, and you were supposed to have the Super Scope and like shoot your bazooka at the dude and win. But like all I could ever do was just like look at the demo and like lose the first stage, and I was like, oh man, like this is a game that I want to play so badly, but like I don't have the ability to do it. The Super Scope, I wish I would have ever had one of those, man. They seem cool. Like they went from the zapper to the bazooka. Like
you need like 6 D batteries to even use it.
Yeah, that was stupid. But yeah, that's what it was back then. Like I mean, for anything to like have any kind of electricity, like, yeah, it was like a whole bunch of batteries. Dude, I love Link to the Past is probably one of my big Super Nintendo games.
Hell yeah. I don't know if I played on SNES.
I love that game.
I played the remake, I think, on what console was the remake on? Like the 3DS? No. I forgot what freaking. I played the remake. Was it for the Switch or the Game Boy Advance or the 3DS? It was just some console. I don't think I played
sequel.
I think that was the DS era.
No, I forgot which one it was on.
I'm trying to think of the one that I'm thinking of, where you can turn into like a painting of Link and like walk around on walls and stuff.
Yeah, that one was basically a remake to Link to the Past, right? I forgot what it was called. Was it the same name?
No, you're talking about Four Swords.
No. I never played Four Swords.
I want to say A Link Between Worlds, but I don't know if that's right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
A Link Between. It got to be Between Worlds. Yes. Okay. It was A Link Between Worlds.
Okay.
Zelda 2 passed, and then like nothing. Breath of the Wild is great. I played the one where he turns into a werewolf. I did not like the werewolf one.
Oh, Twilight Princess.
Oh,
yeah, I didn't.
I like that. I like that one.
I did play a little bit of the Ocarina of Time. It was a good game, but it was just sort of, to me, like I was already moved on. Like it was later on in my life that I played Ocarina of Time, so it didn't hit me as well as it would have if I was younger, I feel. But like it's a good game. It's well designed and stuff like that. It's just the N64, like the 3D on the N64 is kind of ugly.
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time is still my number one like video game like of all time. It's the first Zelda game I played. Every Zelda game that came out since I was born, I've played almost all of them now at this point. I'm just missing like a few, but Ocarina of Time is still like my favorite. I played it when I was like 7 years old, and it's one of the few games I could still just replay and not be like just completely bored of it. So it's always going to hold a place like near and dear to me, especially out of the Zelda games.
That's the one with the moon that's coming towards you too. That's like
no, that's Majora's Mask.
Right.
Majora's Mask. Okay, never mind.
That one's good too. I like that one also.
Right. Well, they're basically the same game, but it's like
hell. It's a sequel. It just came out like 2 years later. It's the same like storyline and everything. I mean, just a different place.
They're gonna do the same thing with Breath of the Wild. I can't wait for Breath of the Wild too. Where they're just like, "Yep, let's do Majora's Mask this time, boys."
I'm the only one that has the wild take on Breath of the Wild. No pun intended. I remember that. Well, I'm the only person in the world that wasn't. I'm the only person in the world that wasn't really into it.
I haven't played it yet.
I still.
Wow. Okay, guys. Probably the best game in the last decade or so. I'm trying to think. Like maybe that is inaccurate. It's one of the best games of the last decade. You guys got to give it another chance.
It's really good.
I'm so far behind on Zelda. Like I just kind of miss the.
My
Like I've
story-
watched people play them a bunch. I barely play them myself.
It's
Usually,
so it's just open. Like, I mean, the first little bit is like kind of tutorial-ish where you're on this plateau and like if you jump off the plateau, you die. So you gotta like, you gotta do what the old man tells you so that you get the hang glider, you get off the island. It's not really spoilers. But like once you get off that island, you can go wherever you want.
Yeah, here you can just go
and
fight
you
the
can do
final
any-
boss if you want. You'll get crushed, but you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, the speed runs for the game are like under like 20 minutes, I think. I want to
Yeah.
say like they're just literally like we're just straight up. We're doing all the tutorials, and that's the majority of the time. And then we're what we call log launching, because like we were talking about how broken games are fun sometimes. Breath of the Wild intentionally left in a bunch of broken mechanics.
Oh.
For example, so the way that the game works is that you can freeze. You got a power that allows you to freeze things in time. Right, so you use this power on it, and it freezes it in time, and then you hit it with like a sword or like a baseball bat or whatever you're hitting it with to give it like power and trajectory, right? So then when time unfreezes, it launches off in that direction, right? So you can also, as Link, jump on top of that item and also get launched across the world, which is great. Or like you can attach octo rocks to rafts and make an airship and use like a Korok leaf to like fly around the world. Which is something that like the developers, I'm sure, didn't intend you to be able to do, but it's just something fun that they decided to leave into the game because they're like, this is broken, but it's fun. But like we understand that it's broken, but it's fun, so we're leaving it in. And like that's what I love about Breath of the Wild is just sort of the things that like you're free to be able to do in it, because the developers realize that like just because something doesn't work as intended doesn't necessarily mean that that's not a good thing.
Right.
It's weird. But yeah, the speed runs can be really quick. Like they're just like bonk, 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 and then pew, launch across the world, like directly into Ganon's castle. Like, yeah, play Breath of the Wild. Give it another chance, Enigma. However, you gotta like. I know you got a big schedule of games, but like try to work it in, man. It's worth your time.
I want to try to work some Zelda in this year. I want to play Ocarina of Time on my channel, if nothing else.
I highly recommend you doing
Play Breath of the Wild, right? Yeah, you're saying it's good.
you can have Enigma, but I'm definitely watching you play that one.
Or Ocarina of Time was the first Let's Play I ever did on my channel. I
nice.
can never like put it down.
I remember watching that, dude.
I've watched so many people play Ocarina of Time. Like I've watched it from beginning to end so many times. Like there's stuff in the final dungeon where I'm like, oh, you just do this, this, and this. Never played it myself.
We also have an interesting comment. I want to know what opinion you guys have on the best 5 games of this decade.
Of this decade?
Best
Yeah,
by
of
game
this decade.
decade.
That's
Like-
by official Kevin Blanco.
Well, you want us to list our top 5?
I don't know what my top 5 would be, but like Nier Automata is one of them for me for sure. That game blew my mind when I played it. It was so good.
I have a,
I love Persona 5 as well.
That too.
Yeah.
my top 5 actually.
That's about
I'm
as
stuck
far
at
down the
4
list, I
right
think.
now.
Like, I was a big Guitar
definitely
Hero
Breath of the
guy.
Wild,
I
I
don't
like
know if
what
I
they
can say it was like a best game,
Aw.
but I was super into it.
I loved Guitar Heroes. My God, I was playing it like non-stop. We had like a competition in my school when I were in school, and I just joined it and was like, screw this, I'm playing Guitar Heroes in the middle of school instead of doing work.
I can name
Oh.
my top 5 in the past 10 years.
Yeah, I
Like
need more on.
Ghost of Tsushima, Persona 5 Royal, Mass Effect 2, freaking God of War, the one for the PS4,
Okay.
and probably what's that last one? I forgot the name. Oh, forgot the name of it. Oh, freaking Kingdom Hearts. No, Kingdom Hearts 2 came out before the last decade. That was like 2005.
Time just flies. You don't even.
Doesn't
I
it?
know. I feel freaking old.
Before I lose mine, I guess I'll say, is Grand Theft Auto 5 within the last decade?
I think
Yeah.
so.
No.
Yeah, it was like 6-7 years ago. so
5
it
was, 4 wasn't.
Yeah.
The second one, I'll say Breath of the Wild because I mentioned that before. I think that's within 10 years. Third one, I'm going to say RimWorld, which is kind of weird, but it's one that really resonated with me. I loved it. It's like a small indie game. It's awesome. Shit, I lost the last 2. Hold on, they're going to come back. Oh god, it hurts.
Definitely missing some really obvious stuff.
Yeah, no, I know I am. Yeah.
I mean, I'm more like casual gaming at the moment since like doing more art. I used to.
Well, like, part of my problem with this decade was like from, I don't know, 2010 to like 2017 or so, I barely played anything. It wasn't until I started streaming that I picked games up again. Like, I was very casual for most of the decade, but then I made up for it. But I played a lot of retro stuff, not so much new stuff.
About to say a lot of my list would be indie games at the moment.
When did Minecraft come out?
Like 2010? I don't remember actually.
So that's like
It
that's
would have
like
been the past decade, I think.
Yeah, let's say Minecraft.
I'm gonna find out right now. 2011. Okay, I was close. Yeah.
I'm about to say, yeah, because everyone was YouTubing that in like 2012, so like a whole year after. Some people doing it as it came out. So yeah, Minecraft would be in it.
Got their list of 5 ready or close to?
Those are the only two
I'm
that
missing like
jump out.
I'm
racking my brain.
We did our best. We tried to answer.
Actually.
I mean, if you change that to like the top indie games of the last decade, then.
Well, I mean, I did really like Undertale. But like,
Undertale is definitely. Like I said, if you did indie games, then definitely stuff like Undertale, Friday Night Funking's pretty good.
I've had so many people ask me to play that.
It's a rhythm game, and it's actually really good.
Yeah, I like rhythm games. I don't know if that's like the...
You should play it. It's good. It's hard. It looks easy when you watch someone else play, but then when you're playing, you dial on your keyboard, going
Right.
I mean, does Subnautica count as an indie game if I were doing this as indie games? Because like, I play more indie games than...
I don't see why indie games
even an indie game.
Yeah, but does Subnautica count as an indie game now? Because there's 2 in there, there's Subnautica, and there's Subnautica Below Zero, which they're still working on, which you can play in early access.
Sure, it's still an indie game because it's not by like a big developer or anything, right?
Don't think so.
Okay, let me pose a question to you guys. Any good multiplayer games that you guys are playing that you can suggest to people?
Well, everyone's just going to be playing Among Us, are they?
I mean, Among Us is a fun, like, low commitment, just kind of like mess around with your buddies kind of multiplayer game. It's more just like have some drinks and just sort of hang out type of thing.
I mean, if you want horror, another big one that a lot of people are playing, and I've really enjoyed, but it's still in early access, is Phasmophobia. That's really fun.
Okay.
Especially if you're playing in a crowd, it's hilarious. The game's a bit broken at parts, but that's what makes it more fun. But that's a horror game, and it works really well. Multiplayer games.
Trying to think what I've even been playing at all that's multiplayer.
Yeah. I've been playing mobile games, but like I wouldn't suggest them to anyone ever, because most of them are pay to win nowadays.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go, if you like Pokemon.
I mean, I was a pretty big Overwatch fan for a while. I haven't played it lately, but like I was pretty into it when I first got my PS4.
Yeah, I played that quite a bit. There's a massive poster of Tracer next to me, and multiplayer. I'm just trying to think of
everything that everybody said. Can we get like a quick?
I haven't done it in a while too much, honestly. The last thing I probably played was like Destiny. Well, wait, probably like Destiny or something like that. I used to be heavy on online gaming, but that was a few years ago, so it's probably not that relevant anymore. Games switch up like every freaking 2 years, it feels like, or even quicker sometimes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the game.
Like, I mean, the last like Rocket League is a good multiplayer game.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into like Fortnite. Like, I'm not really into Fortnite. I would rather get into something like Rocket League, but it's hard to get people to play Rocket League with me. And like, I get bored of Rocket League anyway, so. I used to be huge into MMOs. Like, I wish I could find something that was like a really deep, like I used to play Tibia. That was like, it's still going.
The best.
It's a great, like, you know, it was great for me. Like, most people would play and probably not like it, but like for what it is, if you really got into it, it's a really good game. Can't think of like anything like multiplayer lately that I'd like really want to play with people. Baldur's Gate 3 is not out yet. Like, I really want people to play Baldur's Gate 3 with me if possible. It's really good. so far. Like you only get the first chapter because it's like pre-release and it's all kinds of buggy.
Right.
You only get like certain characters, but it's really good. Baldur's Gate 3, I guess, would be like the most current game that I would recommend anybody for multiplayer. I guess it's only 4 players, but if you got a team, it's cool.
Yeah. Talking about like older multiplayer games, like I remember when we all used to play like Guns of Icarus online. We used to like play all those sort of online multiplayer games. There was a few others. I'm trying to remember them all.
I mean, like I always was like playing Smash Brothers with people multiplayer.
I find Smash fun as when you're actually sat next to the person that you're beating or they're beating you. I've never actually played Smash online. I literally only play with people in the room. And last time I played Smash, I threw a controller at the red.
Yeah, unfortunately, I never had a chance to like really play Smash. I never had the Nintendo consoles past the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Guns of Icarus was good though. Like I mean, but like I don't think anybody really plays Guns of Icarus anymore. I don't know.
There's a few people on the server, but like it's died because the developers did something that no one liked. So, and I can't remember exactly off the top of my head what they did. We've also got someone saying hi or heyo.
Cool, clever stuff.
Yeah.
Chat person. That's all we got for the whole stream is 2 comments.
No, we've got actually quite a few comments, but Kaboom had to go.
Yeah, Kaboom left.
They had to go. And Blanco's been like messaging us.
We really should have somebody who's like paying attention like completely to the chat. I don't know if somebody already is, but
I've been reading it. It's just no one's in it.
I've been here, but I don't want to interrupt when like anyone's in deep conversation. So I'm trying to keep like the chat in between parts that I can see.
Yeah, for sure. So multiplayer games, classic games. What are you guys playing lately?
Well, I've already said I'm playing some casual games, Night of Funkin' and stuff. Mainly that's just like fillers when I'm done drawing or I haven't got work and I just want to sit and relax. I play those sort of games. I do love my reviews.
I've been streaming Persona 5 Strikers, the sequel to Persona 5. It's actually pretty good. It has like Dynasty Warrior style combat rather than the usual like Persona turn-based JRPG style. They kind of like mix the two things together, and so far I'm liking it a lot.
Cool.
Do I need to have played the first Persona first Persona 5 to get it?
Yeah, you'd have to play Persona 5 or Persona 5 Royal, like the remastered version. Otherwise, because the story is a direct sequel, it just takes place a few months later, but it's the same exact team and they're doing basically the same stuff. So if you haven't played it, you're not going to understand how they got together and what their goal is and everything.
So they released that game, Persona 5 Strikers for PC, but there is no version of Persona 5 or Persona 5 Royal for PC available.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. It doesn't make any sense to me.
An easy way to get around the story issue. There is an anime, but a lot of people are a bit with that one.
Yeah, some people didn't like the anime. I didn't watch it myself. I just played the game instead. But
if
you watch
tell
the anime,
you the story.
Yeah, you're understand like that part. Like it's important to just know how they got together as a team. Because at the beginning it's just one guy, and at the end there's like 8 of them, and it's like as long as you understand that whole concept, basically, then you're pretty much good to go. I'd say. The rest of the stuff you can just pick up on by playing Strikers.
But like gameplay wise, like say if I wanted to ignore the stories, it's still like worth checking out.
I mean, I feel like it's one of those games where the story is really the driving force. Gameplay-wise, it's still good too, but I wouldn't say it carries. I'd say the story carries it more so. Like, I'm really more invested in, like, finding out what's going on exactly with everybody and the character. The characters are kind of funny. I'd be, like, cracking up at their dialogue.
I imagine if you're into Dynasty Warriors, probably be easy to recommend.
Oh.
What happened? It just cut out.
Did I break it?
Yeah, I have.
It just cut out for.
I mean, the stream's fine. It's just you've cut out.
Yeah, and Fade is. I don't know.
I'll be right.
Fade is apparently just giving people like trips, rocking back and forth, according to the comments. So
am I still here?
Yeah, you still
I
here.
heard you now.
Okay, cool.
I don't know what happened before. It just cut out like completely.
But yeah, Persona games are definitely more story driven than mechanics. The mechanics are good though.
Yeah, they're just long. I can't recommend them if you like short games like at all. You have to be like in it.
Yeah.
I played my save file on Persona 5 was about 150 hours, I think, and then on Persona 5 Royal it was maybe 120, and then on Persona 3 it was like 170 hours. So I'm like, it's so freaking
like I thought Persona 5 was great, but just the thought of trying to play through it again for Royal, it's like I don't know if I can sink that much time into it again. I'd rather play Persona 4 instead.
Oh, we've got another interesting question. What's a really popular game everyone seems to love but you don't like, and why?
The Persona. Oh my god.
A really popular game?
Persona 5. I've played some of the other Personas. It wasn't my thing. Persona 5 might be better.
Oh man. Honestly, the messed up thing is I already answered this with like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, he's already answered that with Breath of the Wild.
No, I have my story with that game is funny. I bought it simply because it's a Zelda game and people kept recommending it. It was one of the first games I probably got on my Switch, I think. I bought it and I planned on playing it on the plane ride because I was about to be traveling. I bought it like the day before I left, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play this all those 5 hours because I was traveling to the other side of the country. I was like, yo, 5 hours on a plane, I'm gonna play Zelda all day. It's gonna be great. And then I never wound up putting it in and actually playing it. I played a whole completely different game. And then once I landed, like the next day, I had to go out, and I was like, I'll bring it with me. I'll play it now while I'm like waiting online or whatever. And I wound up losing the cartridge after I parked and got out the car. I had lost the cartridge by the time I got to where I was going. And then I was like so pissed. I walked around the whole parking lot, the whole building, everywhere looking for this little tiny cartridge. I was so angry. I was looking forward to it. I wound up going straight to GameStop that same day and buying a whole new one because I was so hyped. And then I bought it. I went back home. I played it for like an hour. And I was so disappointed that I drove back to GameStop again and returned it. And I got that Mario game, Super Mario Odyssey. I exchanged it for that game instead because it was the same price or whatever. And I just took that home and played it because I was just like, it was the first Zelda game I was actually disappointed by. So I kind of like felt that like in my soul because I've loved every single other one before then. I just was like, I was frustrated.
Like, I don't know if Fortnite counts, but like, I just can't get into it. I've tried to get in, and Minecraft, I can't get into it. I've tried to. It just doesn't. It just. I can't do it. But I might be able to play Dragon Quest Builders and get into it that way.
I got bored of it. Sorry, Harf.
I'm just saying, like, either like Minecraft or Fortnite. But I think if I play Dragon Quest Builders, it might get me into like the Minecraft genre that way. Just because I'm such a big Dragon Quest fan, if that's not a indicating.
Yeah, that flavoring might be good for you. I think if you like gave Minecraft a chance, you would get into it because there are like if you get into the redstone mechanics, there's like a bit of depth to the game, and you can like start modding things.
Okay.
So that's where I like had fun with it. Was like doing the server stuff like with Nadine and like being able to do like crazy things like build Fade Town like.
Oh, Penis Town.
Well, yeah, if I had like a crew to play it with, I'd probably like it more too.
For life.
Oh god. See, I have an issue. I do like a lot of popular games, but I tried that Fall Guys and I just did not like that.
I was super into that for like 2 weeks.
You guys tried that? I really didn't like it. I tried it and I just.
It looks cool. It looks like something that I would be into, but like I would probably get bored of it pretty quickly.
I didn't even get bored of it so much. I just kind of had other stuff that was more important to me, and it just sort of passed me by. And now I'm just like, I can't be bothered to pick it back up at this point.
I have never tried any of those 3 games that you just mentioned, Fall Guys or Minecraft or that I forgot what that other one was called.
Fortnite.
I've seen them. Oh, Fortnite. Yes, thank you, Fortnite. I've watched my niece like sit there and play Fortnite and Minecraft and all that stuff, and I was just like, I just can't find myself seeing the appeal for me, like personally. Like even when I was streaming yesterday, someone told me to try Minecraft, and I just was like, I just don't see it for some reason.
Legos, like
I
No.
used a little bit when I was a
some, I
kid.
didn't really.
I used to play Legos.
I play with Dinky Cars more.
it's just right. Like it's just sort of having the sandbox of a world where you can do almost anything with it, right?
Mhm.
Like for me, I like building like a big castle, and it's like you can do cool things with the mechanics. Like you do the redstone, you got light switches and stuff like that, and then the game is so complex that you can make video games in it. Like somebody programmed Pokemon in Minecraft, where like it's like really they made like a Game Boy, and like you got to press the buttons in the game to like move the character around.
That's
What?
neat.
Like it all
Someone have
crazy.
it connect to like YouTube now and stuff as well, so you can watch YouTube videos in Minecraft.
What? Man,
That's wacky.
It's some crazy
I see how
stuff.
it's been going on for almost 10 years now. That's pretty nuts.
Yeah, there's some crazy
it's like-
stuff.
There's so many things that you can do customizably with Minecraft. Like I mean, the vanilla Minecraft, I would get why people are like, oh, it's kind of. But yeah, if you actually get into it and like get into like what Minecraft actually is and sort of like all the fan things that people have done over the years, it's amazing. I think I'm being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fortnite.
Thank you.
Oh dear.
Do you want a shout out?
No, I was playing one with.
So this is here. You can take the camera.
I need to see how I look.
Well, I mean,
You're already live.
Hi.
Hello.
you're always
I'm-
gonna.
Awkward and emailing them.
So this is Ace Dragon Tier. Check her out. Ace.
Hello.
Is it Ace _Dragon Tier or just Ace
Yes, my
Dragon Tier?
TikTok is ace_dragon.
Ace _Dragon Tier. And also, this is her artwork.
Oh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's
she's
what's up.
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, she's also apparently she's also on YouTube. But here I'll show you what she gave me some. She brought me some.
Enigma,
popular bits for the
what
stream.
happened?
Skeets of pizza.
Just
Thank
give
you
me a
very much.
second.
Have a good night.
This is worth being mentioned. Someone regrets spending 500 plus on Fortnite.
Wow.
It happened.
I don't blame you.
500.
I'll save those for after.
That would be a whole different argument when we started to talk about pay to win games or pay to decorate.
We could probably
I
rant
guess.
and rave about that for an hour. Pay to win and
Yeah, that would
like
be
paid
like
DLC
2-3
and
hours.
microtransactions and surprise mechanics.
Oh, man, that's my freaking mortal enemy. No, that-
Microtransactions. So when they first started making games with microtransactions, it was kind of a positive thing. So
Yeah.
it was like you're playing an MMO, but instead of having to, like a lot of them were like, okay, you could have a free account or a premium account kind of thing. Like you can play the game, but like you would have more ability to play the game if you paid for a subscription to the game, right?
Sure.
And then games like Dream of Mirror Online and like a lot of like sort of 3D MMOs came out, and they were just free to play, but with microtransactions. So it's a free game, but you buy costumes or you get like experience boosters, things like that, and it's sort of like okay, like it's not so bad. Like you still get to play the game. If you really like the game, you can play through it, and still get the full experience more or less. But now it's big, like with people like EA and like some things are just gougy. Like I don't like loot chests.
No.
Not a fan of any like loot chest based system for like unlocking things in a game.
It's literally gambling, isn't it? But like, there's a big
Gambling, but it's
massive
probably
nine
more
call.
rigged than gambling. Like I don't trust their drop rates at all.
I go to a casino and walk out with £400. I play a gambling game. Oh, yay! I got an epic.
Right.
Yeah, seriously, I
And it
don't
goes up to like
can't do it.
it goes up to like Mythic plus or something. Ultra legendary Mythic plus. Only $5.99 if you're lucky enough.
It's ridiculous. There's too many stories where someone spent like $500 or more, or thousands on Fortnite. It's like too much. They're making a killing.
just a game be like a straight up just here's how much we charge for the game and then no strings attached.
I don't mind. Microtransactions are alright if the game is free and it's not loot boxes. It's literally like you can buy VIP and then
Right.
unlocks all these games. But when it's oh, you can spend £200 and still not get that character.
I feel like cosmetics is where it's really at for me. If you got a game that's all microtransactions, but they keep it result just straight up, it's just cosmetics is what you're paying for.
Yeah.
Doesn't affect the. I think that's the best place it should be.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Fall
hats.
Night does.
Team Fortress hats was like this whole thing. I don't know if it still is a thing, but and like League of Legends was very much like that. It was just like skins, right? Like
hundreds and hundreds of skins.
Yes,
Ridiculous.
I had skins. Like I had hundreds of dollars on skins in League of Legends on an account that I haven't logged in like 10 years. It's probably gone now.
What gets on my nerves about modern games for me is like when they release like 80% of a game and then they're like, oh, day one DLC, here's this extra chapter, buy it. It's like, I don't know, you could have released it all at once, and then if the game takes off, it's like, oh, well, now here's an extra chapter. Just building stuff that's like already on the CD when it's released, that's DLC, it's like, get out of here with that.
Basically just charging more for the game because they can't charge but so much like legally.
Right.
So they just like take out some and then charge it as like DLC. I think it's one of the most anti-consumer and like honestly scumbag practices I've ever seen in like video gaming as like, well, at least as an adult. I don't know what they did when I was a kid, but that I've personally seen, I think it's disgusting.
I mean, I don't mind.
Remake is like exactly that though.
That's one I wish the game wasn't so good.
Full ass game. Like it was a game. It was a full game. Now they're like, yeah, no. So this like the first quarter of Final Fantasy VII is a full game nowadays, and it's like, like I mean, I see how you stretch things out, but like I would have just rathered if you just did Final Fantasy VII again and like stop with the bullshit Square. Like, come on.
Right.
There's gonna be probably like 4 parts, probably 4 or 5. If I'd probably say 4, but
depends how long they want to string
each one's
it
gonna be
along.
what, $60 or $70. That's like over $200 for the full game that you paid like $40 for back in the 90s. It's kind of nuts.
I don't like waiting for anything. Like I mean, if they got like I don't even want to play part 1 until like there's part like I don't. Is there a world map? Like I don't know. You know what I mean? Like if playing the first game, am I gonna keep my levels and like equipment, or is there like any carryover to the second game, or is it just like, oh no, here we go, like just story wise, like it's
they haven't explained that yet.
I maintain that Yuffie's just gonna steal all your materia at the start of chapter 2, and just be like, oh, you don't have anything, go find Yuffie.
Is there a level cap in like you both played it, right?
Yeah.
Remake?
Level 50.
I maxed out my characters. Yeah, 50.
Is it 50?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So that indicates that maybe there is a carryover that like you can level up to 50, and then on the next disc like the 75, and then the next disc to like 90 or 80
I gotta see how they're gonna do it because it's how much more can they really? I don't know. I hope they explain that part soon, how they're gonna do the mechanics behind if you haven't played the first one and then you want to play the second one, like what does and doesn't carry over, like because it's confusing at this point.
Because like I don't really want to go into part 2 and because I played part 1 have it be like bustedly easy because I played part 1.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
There's got to be maybe in the middle somewhere.
I don't know how they're gonna the balancing.
Setting in the game where you can be like harder or easier.
There's easy, medium, and hard, just like normal difficulties. But outside of that, I don't think so.
Well, that's probably the solution then. Is going to be like if you're pre-leveled, you would go on hard mode, and then if you're just starting over, you would start easy.
The hard mode annoys me though because you're not allowed to use items in battle. Like I wish there was like a cooldown for the items or something.
Hard mode was that was something different. Oh man. Memories.
So are you guys going to play the Yuffie DLC? Are you down for that, or are you guys like kind of disgusted that
I want to play it, but like I don't have a PS5, and that's the problem.
Well, that's the thing.
Well, I got to see how much it all depends on me on like how long it is and how much it costs. There has to be some kind of like effort there into how long they made it and how good, I mean, I'll wait for a review of it. It's coming out in June, right?
Yes, June 10th.
Yeah, I think it's June. I'll wait for a review, and then if it's really not long at all, then I'll wait for it to be on sale. Because they're probably gonna like do something where when part 2 comes out, they're like toss in the Yuffie DLC anyway or something like that, like down the line. Like they always do. Like if you wait a year, you have it for free anyway. It's just,
I'm expecting
you know what I mean?
it to
Like
be,
we're basically paying to get stuff earlier. I feel like
I'm expecting it to be like less than 5 hours.
I really hope not. I really.
Yeah,
I don't want to see it
Fantasy
either, but that's what
15,
I'm expecting.
was very much that, like less than 5 hours. I found, like it was very short. The DLCs for
Yeah,
Final
they
Fantasy
were.
15.
I did each one of
I
them in
never-
like a stream.
Really? How? I never played them yet.
Full game, like I was like I'm paying. If I'm paying extra for more game, like why aren't you finishing the game?
Right.
Like it's just, they just add these side things, and I'm like, that's not what we need. What we need is
Finish the game, yeah.
The game.
I also wonder the remake. How are they gonna do it with the new console generation? I mean, I don't know. At this rate, they might make it PS5 only for like part 2 or part 3 or whatever,
bet
and
you
then how that's
anything
gonna
they're gonna-
translate.
I'll be
Like-
shocked if part 2's on
Very well.
PS4.
Yep.
I kind of hope it is just for
Me
all those
too.
people that don't have one yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I
kinda unfair.
100% agree. It's just them having
Final
the new Yuffie DLC on the PS5 makes me wary of that.
It's gonna be
yeah,
like
that was unnecessary. I don't know why
But they're
did it.
alienating such a
Like,
huge market. How many PS4s have been sold?
100 million, right? Or some wild
Some
number
crazy,
like that.
yeah.
Like,
They're going to alienate all those people? Like, that's especially with the PS5 in such a short supply?
yeah, they've only sold like what 5 million, 10 million PS5s. Not even that much,
I
I
have
think,
no
because
idea.
it's such a shortage. I mean, and all of them are by scalpers anyway that have them. So
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know.
All right, so it's I think we're about an hour here, guys.
Yeah.
I think we'll call this an episode for tonight.
Yeah, it works for me.
Once again, I was not your host, Dragon Tier, joined by Nadine, Enigma, and Mega Harv.
Yeah, have a good one,
Any
folks.
plugs?
Yes, indeed.
All I can
Plugs?
say is check out the podcasts every Friday. Hopefully we have a set time, but still working on that part.
Yes, indeed.
Of course, check out everybody's channel. So we got, so Nadine, you want your Instagram plugged, right? So it's instagram.com/Nadine25. Correct?
Yeah, that's right. Well, underscore Nadine25.
Harv is Mega Harv on YouTube, so youtube.com/Mega Harv.
That's right.
Enigmatic Entertainment.
Enigmatic Entertainment on everything.
Enigma's
YouTube.
Nerd Talk on YouTube. Enigmatic
Yes.
Entertainment on Twitch, right?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Y'all. And of course, I'm Fade Dragon Tier. You can just Google that, and there's a million things. So thanks very much for watching, guys. Peace out. As soon as